Two babies are born. Same second, same minute, same hour, same planet. They look identical. Same tiny hands, same potential brain capacity, same ability to become anything. By age 5, their lives look nothing alike. One stands on a mountain of advantages. The other is still climbing out a hole. Not because one baby was smarter, not because one baby worked harder, but because one started the game already winning, and the other started the game already losing. But here's what nobody tells you. The game was designed this way, on purpose. Welcome to the game that's rigged before you even roll the dice. Let's find out how. Imagine you're playing Monopoly, but the game already started 300 years ago. And when you sit down at the table, one player already owns every property. They have hotels on Boardwalk. They have all the railroads. They have a pile of money so tall it's blocking your view. And you have $1. Okay, no problem, you think. I'll just play smart. You roll the dice. You land on their property. Rent, $500. You have $1. Rich player, pay up. But I don't have. Rich player, I'll loan it to you. With interest. And that's how the game works. You're not playing to win. You're playing to not drown. If this already feels unfair, subscribe to The Saint Explains, because it gets worse. Look at the world. Some countries glow. They have wealth, power, infrastructure, education, healthcare, opportunity. Other countries are gray. They have potential. They have people. They have resources. But they don't glow. Why? Because the glowing countries designed a system where they keep glowing, and the gray ones stay gray. But here's what nobody tells you. It's not just history. There are traps, active traps, happening right now. 4 of them. And they work together like a perfect machine to make sure the game stays rigged. 4 traps. Each one designed to keep poor countries exactly where they are. Let's open them one by one, starting with the one that sounds helpful, but isn't. Before we get to the traps, you need to understand the head start. Let's say life is a race. But here's the catch. Not everyone starts at the same line. Rich countries start 10 miles ahead. They have running shoes. They have coaches. They have water stations every mile. Poor countries start at the actual starting line. No shoes. No coach, no water, and everyone wonders, why aren't they catching up? Let's rewind. A few hundred years ago, rich countries showed up at other countries' houses. They saw resources, gold, diamonds, oil, rubber, land, and they took it, not asked for it, took it, for centuries. Then they left and said, good luck developing your economy. It's like someone robbing your house, taking all the furniture, and then asking, why is your house so empty? You should really get some furniture. So rich countries built their wealth using resources they didn't pay for. They built roads, schools, factories, entire economies. Meanwhile, the countries they took from, still trying to rebuild, still recovering from having everything taken. But sure, let's call it a fair race. Now, imagine you need to climb a ladder. Rich countries have a ladder with every rung in place. Sturdy, easy to climb. Poor countries have a ladder with half the rungs missing. Just climb, say the rich countries. There's nothing to step on, say the poor countries. Not our problem, say the rich countries. This is what people mean when they say, the system is rigged. Not rigged with conspiracy, rigged with structure. The ladder was built with missing rungs. On purpose. And just when you think it can't get worse, the traps activate. Trap number 1. The debt trap. This is the one that sounds like help. It's not. Poor country needs money to build a road. Can't build it without money. Can't get money without a working economy. Can't get a working economy without infrastructure. Can't get infrastructure without money. See the problem? So they go to rich countries and banks. We'll loan you the money, say the banks. Great, says poor country. That'll be $100 million, say the banks. We'll pay you back when we can, says poor country. Oh, and the interest is 20%, say the banks. Wait, what? Sign here. Year 1, debt is $100 million. Year 5, debt is $150 million. Year 10, debt is $200 million. Year 15, debt is $250 million. Poor country. But we've been paying every year. Banks. Yes, that was the interest. Now pay the principal. Poor country. We don't have. Banks. Take another loan to pay the first loan. Poor country. That doesn't. Banks. Or we'll tank your credit rating and no one will trade with you. This is the debt trap. You're not borrowing to build. You're borrowing to not drown. And the water keeps rising. And here's the cruelest part. Every dollar you pay in interest is a dollar you can't spend on schools, or hospitals, or roads. So your country stays poor, which means you need to borrow more, which means more interest, which means staying poor. The trap closes. But that's just trap one. Trap two is the one that makes people say, why don't they just fix their own problems? Because the people who could fix the problems aren't there anymore. Trap number two, the brain drain, also known as why all our smart people left. Poor country finally educates its smartest people. Years of investment, scholarships, university programs, doctors, engineers, scientists. Finally, thinks poor country. Now we can build. Then rich countries show up. Hey, we'll pay you 10 times more. Come work here. We'll give you a house. Your kids will have good schools. You'll have a future. And the smart people go. Because of course they go. They have families. They have dreams. They're not betraying their country. They're trying to survive. No engineers. No one to build the roads. No one to design the systems. No one to teach the next generation. Rich countries. Why don't you develop? We're your skilled workers. Poor countries. You took them. Rich countries. We prefer the term attracted with better opportunities. So you invest in education, and rich countries harvest the results. It's farming, but with people. And just when you think that's as bad as it gets, there's the trap that turns good news into a curse. Trap number 3, the resource curse. This one's darkly hilarious, because it's the trap where finding treasure ruins your life. Poor country discovers oil, massive reserves, enough to fund schools, hospitals, infrastructure for generations. Finally, they think, we're saved. We'll sell this and finally catch up in. Rich countries and corporations. Congratulations on your discovery. We'll help you extract it. Poor country. Oh, thank you. That's very. Rich countries. We'll take 90% of the profits. Poor country. Wait, what? Rich countries. It's in the contract. You already signed it. Poor country. We didn't have lawyers to. Rich countries. Also, we're installing a government that's friendly to our interests. Poor country. You can't just. Rich countries. Watch us. Oh, and even when the poor country does get money from the resources, the leaders often steal it, because corruption flourishes where systems are weak. So the oil money doesn't go to schools. It doesn't go to hospitals. It goes into the leader's Swiss bank account, and the people stay poor, while sitting on an ocean of wealth. It's called the resource curse. Having resources makes you a target, and the targeting never stops. Subscribe to The Sane Explains if you're realizing just work harder doesn't fix systemic theft. But there's one more trap, the one that sounds like fairness, but isn't. Trap number 4, the trade trap, where free trade means free for us, expensive for you. Rich countries say, let's have free trade. Open your markets. No barriers. Poor countries. Okay, sounds fair. We'll sell our crops and raw materials. Rich countries. Perfect. We'll sell you cars, technology, and medicine. Poor countries. Wait, your prices are way higher than. Rich countries. Supply and demand, baby. Poor countries. But you subsidize your farmers so they can undercut our prices. Rich countries. That's different. Poor countries. How is that different? Rich countries. Because we make the rules. Poor countries. Fine. We'll industrialize. Build our own factories. Make our own products. Rich countries. Oh, no, no, no. Environmental regulations now. Poor countries. But you industrialized without those for 200 years. Rich countries. That was the past. Different times. Climate is important now. Poor countries. So how do we catch up if we can't? Rich countries. Just comply with all the regulations we set, which we didn't have to follow when we were developing. Also pay for the technology we patented. Good luck. The ladder keeps moving. Every time you reach for the next rung, someone moves it higher. But even if you could avoid all 4 traps, even if you started climbing, there's something worse waiting. Something that doesn't come from outside. Something that grows from within. A cycle so vicious, entire generations get trapped in it. Let me show you what happens when all 4 traps work together. And here's the cruelest part. All 4 traps create a cycle, and the cycle feeds itself. You're poor, so you can't afford good education. No education means no skilled workers. No skilled workers means no good jobs. No good jobs means no tax revenue. No tax revenue means no infrastructure. No infrastructure means businesses won't invest. No investment means poverty. The circle closes. You're not failing to climb the ladder. You're trapped on a treadmill that's bolted to the ground. And just when a poor country starts to stand up, natural disaster hits. Earthquake, flood, hurricane, or a corrupt leader takes power and steals everything. Or massive debt payments come due and drain the treasury. Or civil war breaks out over resources. Or the global economy crashes and their exports become worthless overnight. It's not one problem. It's 20 problems happening at once. And each problem makes all the others worse. Rich countries watching from their comfortable chairs. Have you tried budgeting better? Here's the difference. When a rich country makes a mistake, they have safety net, savings, reserves, allies who loan the money at low interest. They bounce back. When a poor country makes the same mistake, no safety net, they fall, and falling sets them back decades. One mistake doesn't cost them a year. It costs them a generation. And through all of this, rich countries keep asking, why aren't they catching up? Why don't they just work harder? While sitting on a mountain of wealth accumulated over centuries. While changing the rules every time poor countries get close. While extracting resources, brains, and labor. And then saying, they just need better work ethic. It's like running a marathon where one runner starts at mile 25 and the other starts at mile 0 with their shoelaces tied together and no shoes. And everyone watching says, wow, that second runner is really slow. What's their problem? But here's what nobody talks about. Some runners did catch up, against impossible odds, with all 4 traps active, with the ladder missing rungs. Some countries escaped, and when you see how they did it, you'll understand what it actually takes to win a rigged game. So is it hopeless? No. Some countries escaped. South Korea was devastated after war in the 1950s, poorer than many African countries at the time. Now, one of the richest, most technologically advanced nations on Earth. Singapore was a tiny island with no natural resources, kicked out of Malaysia, given up for dead. Now, one of the wealthiest countries per capita in the world. China was called undevelopable by Western experts. Too big, too poor, too broken. Now, second largest economy on the planet. So it's possible to climb out. But let's look at how they did it. Because the answer isn't they just worked harder. Here's what they had in common. First, leaders who didn't steal everything. That's step 1. Hard to climb a ladder when your leaders are selling the rungs for vacation homes. Second, massive investment in education. Not just primary school, universities, technical training. For everyone, the whole population. Third, they built infrastructure first. Roads, ports, electricity, internet. The boring stuff that makes everything else possible. Fourth, they created industries. Not just selling raw materials to rich countries, but making things. Cars, electronics, technology, products. Fifth, they protected their own markets at first. They didn't open everything to free trade until they were strong enough to compete. Yes, this breaks the rules rich countries tell them to follow. That's how they succeeded. And sixth, most importantly, time, decades of it. This didn't happen in 5 years. South Korea took 40 years to go from poor to rich. China took 30 years. Singapore took 25 years. There's no quick fix, no magic solution, no one weird trick, just decades of not letting leaders steal everything, investing in people, building boring infrastructure, creating industries, and not giving up when the traps activate. Because the traps will activate. They activated for all of these countries. The difference is they found ways around them. So yes, poor countries can become rich, but it requires decades of consistent effort. Leaders who care more about the country than their offshore bank accounts. Rich countries not actively sabotaging them. This one's tricky. Luck with timing and global economics and patience. Because climbing a ladder with missing rungs is slow, very slow, but it can be done. The question isn't, can poor countries become rich? The real question is, will rich countries stop kicking the ladder every time someone gets close to the top? Remember those two babies? Born the same day, same potential, different worlds. Now you see what's between them. Not just bad luck, not just poor choices, but a mountain built over centuries on one side, 4 active traps on the other, a ladder with missing rungs, and a game where the rules change whenever someone starts winning. The baby born in Switzerland didn't choose their advantages. The baby born in Somalia didn't choose their disadvantages. Neither one is better. Neither one is worse. They're just humans, playing a game that was decided before they were born. The saint watches. He doesn't judge the rich countries for protecting what they have. He doesn't judge the poor countries for struggling. He just notices the patterns, the systems, the traps, and he wonders, if everyone could see the game clearly, will they change the rules? Or will they keep playing? That's not for him to decide. He just explains. The rest is up to you. So we have 2 paths. Path 1, stay trapped. 4 traps active. Cycle continues. Gray forever. Path 2, escape like South Korea, Singapore, China did. Decades of effort. Golden eventually. But there's a 3rd path nobody talks about. What happens when a poor country actually succeeds? When they escape all the traps. When they start climbing fast. When they start glowing. Do rich countries celebrate? Do they welcome the new player to the table? But do they get nervous? Because when someone new wins the game, the players who are winning start playing differently. The traps change. The rules shift. And suddenly, free trade doesn't sound so free anymore. We'll talk about that next. About what happens when the game changes. When new countries join the winner's table. And why that makes everyone nervous, including the new winners. Subscribe to The Saint Explains if you want to understand why success makes you a target, and why the biggest threat to a rich country is another country becoming rich. If the game made sense to you, if you finally understand why just work harder doesn't fix a rigged system, if you saw the traps and thought, oh, that's why, then subscribe. Not because the Saint needs it, but because the next time someone says poor countries should just catch up, you'll see the Monopoly board. You'll see the 4 traps. You'll see the ladder with missing rungs. And you'll know, it's not about effort. It's about the game. More explanations are coming. Big world ideas. Simple drawings. The Saint will be here, watching the patterns, noticing what nobody mentions, explaining when meaning is ready. See you in the next one.